Hey guys, Dissection of Violence here. What a card! Honestly, I haven't had this good of a card in a while. Plus 8 units, pretty good for me. New unit size, so you do the math on that. We'll start off at the bottom. We had, I believe, Melissa Mullins versus what's her name? Nora Cornell. Now, it started off all right. Melissa Dixon got her down. Didn't do much with the position. I believe they got back to the feet. I believe so. The odds were pretty crazy on the Dixon side. I didn't understand why to begin with the fight, and then I just trusted my friends. They're seeing what they're seeing. Gotta trust what I'm seeing because at the end of the day, I'm the one, having to pay the bills. So I gotta, make the final say. And I screwed out the pooch with the pick here. My gut was telling me Cornell dog, but I didn't want to listen because all the logic said to pick Dixon. So it is what it is. Logic with women's MMA doesn't always make sense. So gotta just take it for what it is. Melissa Dixon is a fade moving forward. Her striking is abysmal, and yeah, it's a liability. But yeah. Let's see. Sorry, I just saw a message from a teammate. So yeah, I'll give Dix or Cornell. Let's give her Kianzad or Carol Rosa next, since Dixon's somehow ranked 12 and she's only had one fight in the UFC. That just shows you how the validity of the rankings. So moving on, Dylan Budka versus Cesar Almeida. Cesar Almeida. So Cesar, I don't understand why, but the odds makers had him as a plus 300 underdog before the fight even started. And honestly, I couldn't believe why. Honestly, Cesar was landing the better shots. He was, even when Budka had him against the fence, Budka was literally holding him, doing nothing. Not even landing pitter-pat shots, nothing. Legitimately nothing. Surprised ref didn't stand him up. If it was a different ref on a different night, he would have been stood up. But on the feet, it wasn't even close. Cesar Almeida actually tuned Budka up, eventually scoring the TKO. Just really hurt Budka. I can't remember the exact sequence, but I do remember it was a very fun finish. And it wasn't a big, fancy finish, but it got the job done. Cesar Almeida broke Dylan Budka. Basically, Jalton Almeida him. And yeah, love to cash the dog money, the live money. Beautiful, beautiful. Two live bets cashed beautifully well. Let's give Almeida Josh Fremd or maybe a Kizriab next. I feel like that would be fun for his career. Moving on. Gene Matsumoto versus Dan Argueta. This was a fun fight. I was really impressed with the scrambles between the two men in the first round. Pretty intense, pretty high level. If you're a fan of wrestling, you're a fan of grappling, definitely rewatch this fight. That was a high pace for these two sets. I do think Gene Matsumoto is just a next generation of talent. Very, very skilled. Good get-ups. Good, his takedown defense could use some work, but he has good get-ups, good jiu-jitsu, and he has a nasty guillotine. From what it appears, he subbed a pretty good grappler in Dan Argueta. Really good performance from Gino Matsumoto. I rate him very highly, and we'll be watching out for him as he climbs up the rankings in the stacked division. But yeah, I like to see Matsumoto versus Miles Johns next. That would be a big max play for me and Gene Matsumoto. I just can't stand Miles Johns. Or Taylor Lapilus. That would be a very competitive striking affair. So either one would be cool. We'll see what happens, though. Moving on, we have Pedro Falco versus Victor Hugo. Pedro Falco didn't have a training camp for this one, so I couldn't really get to see the full, potential of Falco. But Hugo had a good performance. I thought he for having a camp. He showed the cardio wasn't a problem. He showed he could strike pretty good. I do think he will get fraud checked, but I just don't think this is a fight that to get fraud checked. And yeah, Victor Hugo, man, he showed some good striking skills, some decent skills. Showed he is very, very skilled. It's just a matter of how high his ceiling is. We'll find out here very shortly, in my opinion. But yeah, Victor Hugo, I'd like to see him fight someone like Vinicius Oliveira next. A nice Brazilian on Brazilian fight. Moving on, Norma Dumont versus Jermaine Durandamy. Very disappointing fight for Jermaine. Honestly, I expected it coming off a layoff, but to look that bad was just shocking. She had nothing off her back, no get-ups. Norma wasn't even that dangerous on top. She was just, landing enough. And at one point, she was just holding. Really frustrating fight to watch. Not even a great spot to live bet either because, we didn't really know how the judges would score it. But I thought Norma won clearly, so good win for Norma. It's a former champ she knocked off, so going on a little bit of a streak herself. I think Norma should fight someone like an Irene Aldana next, since she's in a new division. Those wins at 145 aren't as impressive, or not as they don't meaning as meaningful in this new division. So she's gonna have to do a little restart on her streak to see if she can, get a title shot at 135. But I'm sure she's game to do so. Moving on, we had Lucas Bresky taking on Walter Walker. I knew Walker was a fraud. I knew it. I called it. Everyone was like, why are you taking Bresky? It's because Walter Walker is a terrible fighter. If you watched him fight more than once, then you would know this. He is an absolute bum. He's definitely not everyone's saying what Johnny Walker could be. Johnny Walker is definitely the star of the family. This guy is absolutely terrible. Lucas Bresky I thought he was going to come with a little better physique, but he still got it done. Still pushed the pace on Walter and won a dominant decision, in my opinion. I don't see how it could even go to Walker in this fight. It would clear Bresky, and we cashed at plus 300. So really happy about that, and really a good night for live betting. Let's give Bresky to Martin Boudet or maybe a Mick Parkin next. Moving on, Court McGee taking on Alex Morono. Another really interesting fight. Court McGee, I thought, could have even sold the fight with control time. He landed the better shots in rounds 3, maybe even rounds 2. I thought Morono did enough to win, but it was very close. It could have went either way. Kind of shocked he didn't go to a split. But happy for the Morono bettors. I'm sure they were sweating, and it cashed with relative ease on the judges' scorecard. So, yeah, good win for Morono, even though Court's pretty much retired. So, let's give him another, vet in Max Griffin next. I feel like that would be a cool next fight for him. Yeah. Moving on, we have Charlie Campbell versus Trevor Peek. Meme fight, man. I said it was going to be a meme fight. Charlie Campbell, honestly, is not as good as I thought he was. He won the fight, hustled when he needed to, did enough to win, but for the most part, he showed that his cardio is not his strength, and he showed, even though Cheppy Mariscal also looked hard, so maybe it's just Peak that just pushes such a ridiculous pace. But Charlie Campbell, in my opinion, is going to get found out soon enough. I just feel like he's beating guys where he should beat them. So, good win for Charlie Campbell. Dominant win. Good grappling. Good clutch wrestling. He got it done, man. Good win for Charlie Campbell, man. I would like to see Charlie Campbell maybe versus a Jordan Levitt or a Francisco Prado next. I feel like don't put him up the rankings too quick. I feel like he still needs to grow as a fighter. And those are two opponents that would give him the opportunity to grow. But yeah, moving on, we had Ignacio Bahamondes versus Christos Giagos. I had oh my Jesus. You guys can clip that. That was just embarrassing. I just stuttered so bad. Ignacio Bahamondes, I had him by KO, but in later rounds. I didn't think he was going to KO Giagos so quick. I was going to take the KO too, but I cashed out because the odds were terrible. It is what it is. Yeah, man. When a KO is supposed to happen, I gotta take the KO and I gotta take the rounds. It's just how it's supposed to be. That's on me at the end of the day. I'll do better. But Ignacio, he got the KO in the only round I didn't think he was gonna get it in. That just shows you how bad Giagos is and how bad he needs to retire. I think Giagos is done. But yeah, man, I had the start to round 2 prop. That one died and it was just really unfortunate. But it is what it is. That's why I don't play a lot of props. They're just a waste of time most of the time. So it is what it is. Got cashed that Ignacio ticket, but it's not by much. So we'll move on from this one. But let's give him maybe a Jai Herbert or a Borshev next. I feel like he deserves a striking matchup. Moving on, Morgan Charriere versus Chepe Mariscal. Very frustrating fight, honestly. I had Charriere pre and live. I missed the opportunity for plus 1,500 on Chepe. I was not on the right book. FanDuel was locked. Everything was locked, but it is what it is. I'll do better for next time with keeping more books open. Chepe is a dog, man. He's going to fight to the end. But Charriere is he's just Charriere, man. He's gonna be a journeyman. He's gonna win some. He's gonna lose some. It is what it is. I didn't think Mariscal was. He is a bit better, but not by much. And it's just a really ugly fight. Really disappointed in Charriere. Had him free and just let me down. But he won't be the first guy to let me down tonight, and he won't be the last. So it is what it is. Yeah, moving on. Let's give Chepe another jump up in competition. Let's give him someone like a Charles Jourdain, maybe. Moving on, we have Alexander Hernandez versus Damon Jackson. The fight that depressed me the most, in my opinion. I had Alexander Hernandez pre. I thought he was the side. I thought he was going to come in and KO Jackson at this new camp at altitude training with these guys. You know, Isaac Bulgarian, like Marco Medeiros, all these Factory X guys. I thought, he's working on his craft. He's going to get better in the sport. Turns out I was dead wrong. He, in fact, is just as bad as he was when he debuted. And honestly, I can't get behind another Hernandez bet. It's either Hernandez KO or nothing. I don't want to touch his fights anymore. He's just he's not someone you can trustfully bet on. Definitely made the difference tonight of a 10-unit day and an 8-unit day. So that was a little frustrating, but it is what it is. Congrats, Damon Jackson. I'd like to see you fight someone like a Bill Algeo next if he's not on concussion protocol for too long. But I know Jackson's looking to get back in there ASAP, so maybe that's not the matchup, but we'll see. Moving on, we had Brendan Allen taking on Chris Curtis. Now, the main reason I had Brendan Allen was a training camp. Chris Curtis did not have a training camp for this fight, and he still made it relatively close. Honestly, I thought Curtis could have edged the fight. Very, very close. Brendan Allen steals the decision. I had both of them as underdogs live, so I cashed that. A nice half unit. It is what it is. Only reason I had Allen because of the training camp. I knew Curtis didn't have a good training camp, so. But yeah, man, I'm interested to see how the trilogy would go. This fight was crazy, back and forth. Both guys got hurt. Crazy fight, man. But yeah, let's see Brendan Allen versus Vettori or Usman next. Maybe even the trilogy with Curtis at the end of the year or something. I don't know. All I know is middleweight's in a weird position right now. But yeah, really crazy card, guys. 9-3 on picks, plus 8.7 units. So pretty monster night. Hope you guys tailed. Hope you guys cashed. Let me know who you guys want to see fight next. Like, subscribe. You know the drill. I'll see you next time. Peace.